Guess we're live. Howdy. Okay. I'm not sure about the audio level. Hey, Justin McDaniel. How's it going? Thanks for coming in to hang out. Let me know if the music is too loud at any point here. Just waiting for Unity to be ready here. Great. Cool, Unity. It's thinking right now. I'm gonna put my document on screen here. I can sort of show you the conceptual points here while I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Unity to move some files across and just change the directory that they're in, and Unity's thinking about it. So I'm defining the actions here for my game, and basically the most important thing about a game is you just have to make a decision. Just make a decision and then follow through with it. And so when I was early on in my game development career, that's what I got caught up on the most, was not being able to fully make a decision and then follow through with it. What I do differently these days now is I just make the decision and then I immediately follow through with it. And that can come down to even things such as, you know, your magic spells, your attacks, your abilities. When you're sitting around a Denny's at 2 a.m. with your friends and you're thinking about cool ideas, and you're thinking, oh, you know, it'd be sweet if a game could do this or a game could do that. That's all well and good, but at the end of the day, you have to make a decision and just follow through with it. So this document has all of the attacks, all of the actions. I don't call them attacks because some of them are defensive, you know. So I call them actions, and I really like seeing things in documents like this because it helps me balance out what I'm working on and where I can explore further when it comes to the abilities of a game. So you might look at, you know, the silver element and you might think, oh, it's kind of, you look at the power output of each one, you think, oh, it's kind of missing support abilities, it's missing something that has high damage output. So I like to put them in a document like this. Yeah, we're using Unity today. I'm waiting for Unity to move some files across, and then when it's ready, we'll be working in Unity. We'll be doing some programming, and I'm just going over the document process, the planning process for making. And I think you guys probably like this kind of thing, because I absolutely love this step, is coming up with cool ideas and abilities for the attacks and everything. Justin McDaniel, yeah, great. I'm great. Great to hear from you. Dead Witch X Guy, good to see you. Hey, Nacho Genocide, how's it going? But what if you want to change? You can always change this stuff later on as well. I'll show you programmatically how I do that with the data structures that I have in my Unity projects. Didn't Atlas do monster summoning before Nintendo? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Shin Megami Tensei. That was, yeah. Detailed spreadsheets. Well, this is just a document. Spreadsheets have too much lines for me. There's lines everywhere. But this is just a document. But I love this, you know, because you can look at it, you know, you have the gold element type stuff, and then you can see, you can quickly compare one element to another. You know, they're classified by different elements, and I can say, oh, this one has more support abilities, you know, or this one has more status ailments, you know, so you can see specifically what each element specializes at. You can see, so goo gems, you have to earn goo gems from difficult battles in Ghoul Busters, and the goo gems let you teach new actions to your Goobuddies, your monsters. So there's certain ones that are gem exclusive, so I've specified which ones are gem exclusive, and I've moved them around from you know, from category to category. There's a bunch of stuff, and we can go over all sorts of stuff, but you make a decision. I'm talking about making decisions when you're planning your game. What's good is to have consistent language. So if an action has X in the beginning, then it means that it affects multiple targets. And I established that pretty early on, that there's certain actions that only affect the user or only affect one target. And then if it has X in the beginning, then you'll know it's all targets. And it's little things like that that make a difference when it comes to consistency of language. Oh, Dead West Texas guy. Ah, I gotcha. That's cool. Nice. In game, will there be a Pokédex like device or Goobuddy? There's the Goopedia, so it's not a Pokédex. It's more like a like a dictionary, but it's also going to have helpful explanations for the mechanics and all that. So when I define rules and conventions, these are just things. These are notes that I keep track of, so I make sure that all of the design language in my game is consistent. So if an attack uses the word ball, then regardless of whatever, there's different sizes of attacks. And oh, I didn't mention this before. Projectiles are edible for the most part. So your Goobuddies, they can use an action called Eat. And what Eat does is they just prepare themselves for an upcoming enemy projectile attack. And if the next enemy's attack is a projectile, they'll eat the attack and they'll restore their health. So it's a way to not only you're blocking an attack, but you're eating it. But it's only if it's a projectile. And there's projectiles of different sizes. If a Goobuddy eats a projectile of the same element, then they recover even more health. So here's where I sort of say, like, if the attack is a ball, then it's edible. And they're always single target. You know, there'll never be a ball attack. You have slime ball, you have fireball. You know, they'll always be edible. Bullets are always edible. You know, so they're similar. But something like a bolt, you know, firebolt, thunderbolt. I have my rules here that say bolts are not edible, and that's going based off internal logic. Like, if there was a lightning bolt coming down from the sky, would you just open up your mouth and try and gobble up a lightning bolt coming from the sky? I think not. So, you know, I write down things like that. So beams are edible, they're always large, but a buster beam is not edible. So these are the kind of things that I want to make sure that I define, so I know that I'm doing this consistently, because it's not fair to the player to have one beam, you know, like fire beam, and then that one's edible, but then for some reason you have thunder beam and that one's not edible. You know what I mean? It's not consistent or fair to the player, and I want to help the player understand, you know, as much as they can about the game. So just seeing phrases like that right off the bat, you know, helps the player. Rodrigo Chavez, hey, how's it going? I love your videos. The vibe is everything. Greetings from Costa Rica. Hello. Greetings from Australia. I'm glad you guys are here just hanging out. You know, I wake up pretty early in the morning so I can do a video in the morning because it's just fun. You know, I just want to bring something cool to people. And then I do the video in the morning, and then I get straight to my game development here. So I'll show you guys what I'm working on here. Your insight videos are always enjoyable. And to see personally making a creature raising sim, but closer to the Chow Garden than Pokemon. Yeah, that's right. I've always loved, you know, I obviously love JRPGs, but just monster raising. I think when you focus more on the monster raising stuff, I absolutely love that stuff. Are there any Monster Rancher fans or Monster Farm fans here in the chat? Because I'm kind of crazy about Monster Rancher. I used to steal discs from everywhere that I could from my house and just stockpile CDs and try and see what monsters I get out of Monster Rancher. So if you don't know what Monster Rancher is, it was a game for the PlayStation 1, and you basically use CDs. You take CDs and then put them in the PlayStation, you swap them out, and then it generates a monster based on the data that's on the CD. It was the coolest thing in the world. And I'm still fascinated by that. I absolutely love that. And my brain just like latches onto a concept like that. So what I want to do here right now, so we took a little bit from the organization part. So game development is not just programming, it's not just level building. A ton of game development is planning and documentation, and you have to do all that. Let me see if I can get to some chill music here. I'm gonna put this on here. Oh, some creepy music. I'll put on some chill music here. Yeah, inconsistency in game logic is very annoying. Hex, absolutely, you got it. And it's, you know, like you've ever played a game where it's just like the rules are not, they're not always the same. Stuff like that really irritates me. So I'll show you the menu that I'm working on here. I'm playing this with I'm testing it with, this is a USB thing. It's meant to go into the Switch, but it works on the PC. It's just kind of fun to use. So what we want to do today, I want to create the logic. So you generally create a lot of placeholder logic in programming. It's called a stub and driver system. And stub and drivers are basically placeholders. You stick them in place, and then they sort of Um, they're there in place, and then you can replace the empty logic. A stub and a driver, they have empty logic. You can reference those things. You can reference a stub and a driver has some basic logic, and then you put them in place, and then you add more logic later on as well. So today we're going to be adding in the logic for this stuff because it's just displaying, a stub. It's not functional. These are stubs here, so we'll be programming the logic so that we can display that. But this stuff is functional. That actually will. So I'll show you how training works. Training is in real time. So you have a character, and then you have training apparatus. You see how there's a 1 out of 1? So I own one training apparatus. Training occurs in real time, and then in order to actually train your Goo Buddy, you have to own an apparatus, and you can buy more. So this one increases power, right? So we'll select that. It says Chunky started training, and if I go to that character and you see it's 0 out of 1, so now I couldn't use Woodchop again. I would have to buy another one if I wanted another Goo Buddy to train. If we go to our stats, a little message will pop up when he's done training. Any second now. And you can see it says he's finished training in his stat for power increase. So that's how training works. But it's basically, in my mind, it's like you kind of hyper optimize because you're going to raise up to 55 on the ranch at a time. You can have like 600, in the stables, and then you have 35 actives. So in my mind, the challenge comes from like hyper optimizing yourself and just like going through all the menus, and then like you have this flow and a rhythm of going through the menus, right? And you plan out like, oh yeah, I'm gonna train these guys for power. Go switch to the next corral. You've got 35, 30 or 35, whatever it is. My girlfriend plays Slime Rancher a lot. I haven't seen Slime Rancher, and I probably should look at it. I've heard someone mention it before, but it sounds like something I would really like. Used to be heavily invested in Digimon games. Yeah, I've always loved Digimon since day one. I have a massive Obsidian document, which I eventually translated to a wiki. Nice. Wikis are so great. They let you organize all the information, and I just enjoy deep diving into something, just like looking at the wiki. Uh, One of those things is Super Sentai. I love just jumping into like the Power Rangers Super Sentai wiki and just looking at all the different. There's so much information to know about, a particular franchise. Never heard about that terminology before. Good way to think about it. Yeah, I would not be able to develop uh, as good as I can today as well if I didn't take a software development course. So that was hugely useful to me. Was a software development course, but the vast majority of my skills I developed myself. Um, I'm still working on a couple other menus, like the food. You can see this; these are stubs. There's some driver logic there, but you can see there's stubs here. This is placeholder information, then I'll add logic to that later on, which we can do today. This is what I want to work on today. These are your goo gems, so your goo gems and your food are all in the one menu. Uh, and again, this is stub logic. It's not functional, but it's a placeholder, but it's functionally there. When you unlock Fusion, the question mark menu will be replaced by Fusion. That's where you can stack Goo Buddies on top of each other. Let's look at our eggs here. So this is how you get Goo Buddies. It's called the egg exposure system. Eggs are blank; they don't have any of their own genetic data, and you expose the eggs to different experiences and different environments, and it will develop genetic data based on taking the egg on an adventure. Now, what you can actually do during battle, I'm still figuring out. What's the difference between food and goo gems? Food is how you maintain your goo buddies' health, and then goo gems teach them new battle actions. Uh, so how it's going to work during battle is I'm not sure what button it's going to be at. Maybe like L2 or ZL, whatever you want to call it. But anytime you hold that button down, you'll actually hold out your egg. You can only hold one blank egg at a time. But say you're in the middle of a battle and then the enemy is about to use a move and you want that egg to learn that move. So you hold ZL and then it makes your egg pop out and then the egg will get exposed to the enemy's attack. You can learn an action that way by exposing your egg to other attacks, or maybe you want it to learn an action that one of your guys knows. So you can actually teach an egg an ability by exposing it during combat. And throughout a lot of the gameplay, you'll be able to hold the egg out, just by holding the button down. And to me that's exciting, right? Because then you're constantly looking for opportunities. X Fortune. Oh, that's super unique. Thanks. Yeah, I love that kind of things in games where it's just like a fun idea that um it makes you think like, oh shit, what else could I do with this? Where can you go with it? So that's how you do the stuff eggs. So this readout will let you know their talent. For example, every egg potentially could have a talent where they'll develop one stat faster than the other. So once you get familiar with the different species and then you see the strengths and weaknesses, you might think, oh, it would. I think strength would be a good talent stat for this egg. And then eventually you'll be able to tell which species the egg is going to be as well. So you can hatch that. And then there's going to be interactions. Right now it's all stub logic, placeholder logic, but then there'll also be activities, and this will be things like go on a picnic, go stargazing, watch the sunset. Much of this game, I want it to feel like these things are your friends, like you're not just sending them out to make them fight. I want you to feel like they're your buddies. I mean, the game's called Goobuddies, and it's supposed to be more about raising, and battling is just one thing that you can do. That's something that Pokemon, I think, doesn't do that well, is make it feel like they're your friends. It's kind of like, what if you only called your friends over when you wanted them to fight someone for you? I mean, that's kind of what Pokemon feels like to me. And I would like if because I think what game did it extremely well is Pokemon X and Y, where they had the Pokemon Ami, and you can poke your Pokemon, and you can do the face recognition that never worked well. But that one felt like you were hanging out and they were your friends. But like the modern Pokemon games, you go on a picnic or whatever in Scarlet and Violet, but it feels so mechanical. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like you're actually engaging or interacting with them. And even in Sword and Shield, you get to wave a little feather toy, you get to throw a ball, and that didn't feel like anything. It just felt like they threw it in there just to have something to say, oh, you're interacting with him, but it felt so superficial. So I want this to feel like these are your actual buddies, I like that stacking for fusion saves you effort on asset development while still having a good visualization. You're absolutely right, because here's the thing, if you're going to fuse creatures, it's a massive amount of work. But stack fusion, it saves you a lot of work, and there will be some creatures, like, say, for example, this guy. When you fuse this guy with other creatures, he actually, like, the rest of his body disappears, and it's the wings, and then the wings attach to the Goobuddies. So there are certain species that will fuse to other Goobuddies and then just grant you different traits. So there's certain ones designed specifically for that. Flying Mug. And this guy is a Skyclaw. And his stack fusion is he carries the Goobuddies. He's a claw machine, isn't he? I designed this guy before I came up with stack fusion. And so it's incidental that he's a claw machine. I just thought a flying Goobuddy claw machine was a hilarious idea, and so I made it. That's why I made this guy. Let's go ahead and let's use the editor window. We'll just look at him. Some of these designs, I was just laughing the whole time I was making them. They were just making me chuckle. This guy, I just love this design, and I have to create animations. Like this guy's legs are quite stiff, so I have to make certain animations where when they're being carried, his legs will dangle down, and there'll be some physics simulation. It's going to be adorable, the physics simulation. You can see a little bit of physics simulation active here on this guy. I gotta grab the entity here. Frame rate's a little low because I got a lot of stuff going on right now. Oh no, I'm breaking his physics. But you can see the physics simulation and all that. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is our character selector menu. Let's just go ahead and fix the logic on that. And again, we'll see what I'm going to do first here. Do it like Nintendogs. Hey, PVT Parts, what's up? Man, I miss the era of DS, man. DS was so cool, and they had the Nintendogs, and everything was interactive. It felt like they had a vision for something, So let's do this first. The first thing I'll do is I'll have this where it actually updates based on the character's name, your Goobuddy's name, and then their combat power. Their combat power is how you gauge how strong that character is overall. In combat power, it says CP. That's determined by taking all of the stats, adding them up together, and dividing by 6. So let's say you're looking at the list of missions, right? And you want to know how difficult an enemy is going to be. Look at the enemy's combat power, and you can compare it to your combat power. This guy's combat power is 12, so it's not a level, it's an average of all of your stats. And so if you see an enemy that has a combat power of 2000, you'll know, oh, this guy's this guy's not good enough to fight. So that's what combat power is. So let's go ahead and program the logic for that. And I'm not entirely sure where I left this off. Dude, your music sounds like something I would hear in a top 10 horror story video. Hey, thanks for that. Hey, Ray Tesla, good to see you. The music that you're listening to comes from my Silver Falls series. I have 2 albums on Bandcamp that you can listen to for free. But that was the one thing people keep telling me that they really like is my music. And it's funny because I don't think I'm that good as a musician or a composer, because I feel like I should keep improving and getting better. And so whenever I make something, I know it sounds weird, but whenever I make something, I know it's not the best that I could make it, because in my mind I know, like, if I spend more time, I can get better than what I am now. So, that's beside the point, is that when you produce something, you produce it at the skill level that you're at now. And that's just how it is. You can't produce something that's better than what you're capable of doing. But in my mind, I know that I can keep improving. I know I can do better. So I feel a little bit uncomfortable about my music because, yeah, I guess it's weird. But I think, no, I can do better than that. I should keep improving. I should get better. Okay, let's go ahead and look at select. Does that make sense to anybody, or is that nonsense? Man working on my game as well. Just stop by. Hey, you're working on your game. What kind of game are you working on? That's awesome. I got a bunch of game devs in the chat. That's awesome. Yeah, we got our own group here, our own game dev club. Diminishing returns. It is true. Yeah, you hit a plateau when it comes to your skill level, and it is frustrating. It's like that for archery right now, because I've been shooting for around 20 years, and I've hit a plateau with my archery. It's so frustrating. It's great when you first start out because you improve really quickly, but you start hitting plateaus, and it takes a long time before you improve. Video Gamer 65, how's it going? Good to see you. Your vision versus your current skill level. You got it. Hey, Mojave Knight, good to see you. You have some bangers. Trust, I really appreciate that. I'm doing another parody game called Chud Logic's Gawk Band. I'm the dev who made Idle Streaming Bonanza, that pirate software DAIM said, oh, hey, I know of your game. That's awesome. Hey, it's great to see you. I couldn't believe that. That situation actually really irritated me. I saw that and I thought, like, what the heck, man? Why would you? That's so mean-spirited to have done that. Well, it's good to see you. He's right about plateauing, yeah. Analog Pill, are you a fellow game dev? That's awesome. Haven't seen you stream since your camping trip. I've been so hyper-focused on Goobuddies, and it's, like, this is already difficult. Like, I've actually set aside tasks. Like, these tasks I set aside because I thought, oh, I should be able to hang out and just chat to people, because there's certain tasks that do require way more attention. Okay, so what I want to do, so let's have a look. So all of these things here, right? These are objects. They all have a script called Beast Fang, heads up, display character battle stat. And if we look at the hierarchy here, they have all the stuff that's in there, right? And this is basically a prefab or a template. So I can duplicate this one object as many times as I want. It's a template, basically. So I don't need to keep recreating it. I only need to create it once, and then I can reuse it. So it references, basically, the only thing I care about right now is the text for the combat power value and the nickname. So this is what we care about right now. And right now, this is HP, because I've used this for something else. So you can still, for the battle system, I use this. You can use that for HP, but you can use it however you want, basically. So I'm gonna leave that one. I'm just gonna say menu, and then I'll use it. I'll use that for combat power. So basically, I just want the nickname, right? So we have this here, text name, text name dot text is equal to, and then this is part of the save file system that's in party member. It's referencing that in party member dot nickname. It's that simple. That will put the nickname of the creature on the text. Now I want the combat power, so let me just remember how I got the combat power. I think I got it from here. Combat power? No, CP? I gotta remember how I got the CP. Let me find it. I calculate it. It's good to just find logic that you've used before. And I have looked away from the chat for a second because I do actually need to read some stuff here. I think that script is in there. That's not a great place for that, is it? Text combat power. So I'm just gonna Control F this, and I'm going to yeah. So the way you get combat power calculated is that I'm just going to copy and paste it. Reuse your work as much as you can, and it's just going to save you a whole lot of time. So let's see. I need to reference my game manager. So 1 second here. The game manager for me it holds all the anything involved with the current game state. I will get back to the chat in a second. I just actually have to pay attention to what I'm doing for a second. VSpang game manager. I do have a limit to my attention span is equal to VSpang game manager dot instance. Okay, so we have that there, and I'm just gonna let's see here. Yeah, so that gets the combat power. So then we'll grab, and I know that says HP, but in this situation I'm using it for CP, right? Text. Ooh. Okay, so now the logic is in there. So now we need to call the logic. We need the logic to be performed. So we open this, right? That I know where that is. Okay, so I need to make sure I'm referencing these things here. I need to reference these guys here. So character battle stats. So I'm going to go to my main menu and make sure that my battle stats are referenced. I'm going to Control F, battle stat. So I do have them referenced here. I'm going to Control F and see if they're being refreshed or updated at any point, and it looks like they are not being referenced anywhere useful. Okay, so I have this. I have this here. I have refresh character, select menu stats. So I am calling this already. I am already referencing it. So what we want to do is now refresh that. Refresh display data menu. If we Control S, I'm just going to run it now. I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to see what happens if I run it. And we'll see what happens there. And then I will get back to the chat. Hold on. Yep, there we go. There we go. It's functional. We did it. We did it. It's functional. But we now have ones where there are no party members, right? So we should not have anything visible here because we don't have party members in those slots. So now what we have to do is add logic so we disable the visuals on those. We don't necessarily want to disable the object because that would conflict with the grid layout. The grid layout sorts things if the objects are in there. Now, normally what I do is I plan ahead and I think, is this going to create extra work for the future version of myself? And it looks like it's possible the past version of myself thought of that, and it looks like it's true. The past version of myself worried about this being extra work for me. So what I did is I have something called the content holder, and that's actually inside of there, and that actually holds everything. So now what I can do is actually disable the holder. So what we'll do is now use that. I like the past version of myself because he usually thinks ahead and then he saves me a lot of time. So I'm so glad for that. So what we're going to do now is check for this. We'll go if in party member dot species ID is greater than 0. I always, for database things like this, I always leave 0 as the empty spot. That means that there's nothing there. Okay. And if it's greater than 0, then we'll do this. Okay, and then we go holder, content holder dot set active, and we'll make that true. And I'm just going to save myself like the smallest amount of typing by just control copy and paste. And then we go false. But I actually, and if there is no party member, then we'll actually just go ahead and get rid of the text as well. So now this logic that we've just added will check if there is a party member, then it make it visible, and then if he doesn't have a species value greater than 0. So now when we open this, those other ones should be no longer visible because we only have one party member. We did it. We did it. He's locked in, getting super enthused. Yeah, I am locked in right now. I do love game development. It's something that I get very excited about. So, you know, I kind of get fired up working on it. But when you're doing this for 14 hours a day and then you realize it's 2 a.m., you're usually not that excited by 2 a.m. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to hang out in the chat now. So, yeah, that's a little bit... We did it. We accomplished one of our tasks today. What we'll do next is we'll update this list. We'll add logic so that this will stuff this stuff. So, yeah, that's it. And you see, I was able to use the stub driver method. In the past, I left stubs there. There's driver logic that needs to be expanded upon, but you have the basic logic there, and you leave stubs. You can reference a stub. It's a placeholder. Those things were stub. You know, they were placeholders, and you can see it was very easy to come back and replace them later on. So that's one development approach. A Pyrobyte. Hi, first time watching one of your streams. Hey, welcome. Good to see you. I'm going to hang out with you guys now. I still have my OG DC so I can play my other Game Boy games. Nice. And I have my 3DS for other games. I still use my 3DS. Is there anyone in the chat that still uses 3DS? Make sure to take some breaks. You're right. I tend to not take enough breaks, and that's problematic for me. Guys, I got to tell you something so embarrassing. And I've been so... This genuinely embarrasses me. So the other day, I wanted to boot up and just play a little bit of Dragon Quest IX. So I'm looking around, looking through my 3DS games, right? Sometimes you got that itch. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I'll just grind out a couple levels and you know, get some gold and upgrade my equipment. Looking around, like half an hour later, looking through all my 3DS stuff, and I'm thinking, where the heck is Dragon Quest IX? And now in my head, I'm thinking, I've lost the game. I've lost my save file, right? And I'm kind of irritated now. I'm thinking, I can't believe I actually lost the game. And then I realized that's not a 3DS game. Dragon Quest IX is a DS game. And I couldn't believe it. Like, in my head, Dragon Quest IX is so good. I could not believe that it was a DS game. Like, I was thinking about it like, no, Dragon Quest IX has to be a 3DS game. It's so good. It's fully 3D. Everything's modeled. And I just couldn't believe it. I felt so embarrassed when I found it. I thought, oh man, this is not even a DS game. It's not even a 3DS game. It's a DS game. Congratulations, you predicted yourself. Be nice to your future self is one of the fundamental programming paradigms. You got it. Ninja Running Wild. The last thing you want to do is leave yourself a mess, and then the future you has to go and fix it in programming. Very frustrating. Do you think you'll ever get a physical copy of your game? I don't buy digital much due to not trusting game companies. That's going to be really difficult for me. That's something that I would like to work towards. But you seriously, like, the minimum order for a game cartridge, depending on the platform. But in the past, it was like, you need to invest $80,000 to get the minimum order of physical games made. And then you have to handle the distribution of the physical games. I don't have $80,000 to put on getting a game produced physically right now. And it's something that I want to work towards in the future. So there's a lot of developers out there, and the only way that they are able to produce games is just to have a digital option. My 3DS broke from overuse. You know what I don't have with me right now is my first 3DS XL. The circle pad broke off because I used it for Super Smash Bros. 4. And so I can still use it for RPGs, but it's got like a sharp metal plastic axle sticking up on the 3DS XL. I DK where my 3DS went, but it definitely has some really good games. Zelda Link Between Worlds, nice. I haven't finished Link Between Worlds, and that's so weird because it's the exact kind of Zelda that I like. I love my 3DS, makes me go cross-eyed when I turn on 3D. I love Monkey Ball, yes! A Monkey Ball fan. Monkey Ball is one of those ones where I like turning the 3D off and then on again so I can like appreciate it. You know, you learn to appreciate it. It's kind of like sawing yourself, like doing a saw. Like you'll never appreciate it having stereoscopic 3D. You know, that's what it's like turning off the stereoscope. Hey, thanks for that knee pain. Hey, good to see you. I really appreciate that. Hope to see you doing more of these streams. Yeah, if anything, you know, I hope this can be useful to some people. They can, you know, if people aren't sure how they should approach, you know, something in programming, maybe something that I say here could be helpful. You know, I want to see more of the game. Looks awesome, man. Kind of you to share your wisdom. The only way that mankind can move forward in a positive way is to share what we know with each other. I've seen people that hoard knowledge and then don't share it with people, and that's kind of sucky. Don't be sucky. You might be wondering what this dude is. So there's different elements, and then there's physicality to the elements as well. So it's not just a palette swap. There's particle effects. There's like, okay, hold on. I'll just run it, then I'll show you the plant element. So they actually have physical aspects to the characters as well. So this is the species is Gooblet, and then you can see there's a leaf on him. Can I just make the stuff go away or grid selection outline? I mean, that's the most I can do. So if a Goobuddy is plant element, they'll have leaves on them. So because he's a baby, there's not much room on there, you know. You can see a leaf. So it's not just a palette swap. I have to manually go through every single species and then put the details on there in engine. So that's a lot. That's a lot of work. But it's those kind of things that I appreciate as a gamer. If I were to see this be just a palette swap, I wouldn't like it. I would think it's boring. But there's particle effects and different things, like the ice element has icicle spikes. The earth element has rocks and stones sticking out of the body. This guy is phantom element. And there's two special elements that you can't grow normally. And that's magic and phantom. And this thing makes me, I love the way this looks. This is basically wish fulfillment. I didn't have to make this an element, but I was thinking in my head, you know, like, dude, you know, it'd be so sick if there was an element that kind of looked like ghosts. Oh, that's why I made water. I'm trying to get into Unity, but it's hard, not impossible though. You got it. It is hard. It is hard, but there's so many different tutorials out there. The best thing you can do is reverse engineer tutorials. So download tutorials, follow along with the tutorial videos, and what you do is you look at a basic tutorial, and a good tutorial will tell you to edit values in the project itself. And when you edit the values, you learn how you can take your idea and make it into something physical, whether that's changing the movement speed of a player character or changing the jump height. Those are the things that you have to learn first, and you learn it best by editing an existing project. So do that as much as you can. Just do as many tutorials. That's the best way to learn. Otherwise, it's doing everything from scratch feels impossible because you have too much to learn. This is so cute. Yeah, this game is wish fulfillment. I'm thinking, you know what? If I was playing a monster game, like, what do I want out of it? So of course you have the cute stuff, right? And then you have like these gnarly dudes, but there has to be a degree of cuteness to them as well because they're all round, they're all made out of goo. So it's pretty difficult to come up with designs for this concept because they all have to be very consistent. You know what I mean? You can't just make it look like anything. Oh, let's go ahead and just change that. Yeah, now he's got proper highlight to his eye. So yeah, I'm trying to make designs where I look at it and I personally think like, well, this dude is sick. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll do a little bit of programming. So again, for anyone that's just checking in, thanks for coming to hang out. What we're going to work on next is making sure that we display the actual data for the actions that your Goobuddy knows. This is going to take a little bit more work. So what we just did on stream here is we created the logic to where this updates. So I actually only have one party member. Let's give myself some more. So we'll make sure that the logic works here. So I don't have the logic for hatching eggs yet. I'm still, again, I have the stub driver design philosophy there, so I only have placeholder data right now. So what I will do is modify my save data correctly. So we're going to open up my save data. We have creatures in party, creatures in reserve. So elements. This is element 0 is my first character. Okay, we're just going to make them the same species because I'm still rigging and animating the other species. So species ID. Someone call out a number between 1 and 15, and that'll be the element. Someone call it out in the chat. Jiggle action. Curious question. Why did you make Silver Falls Shadow free? Hex, so more people can read it. I'm going to start selling the paperbacks, and then people can buy paperbacks if they want. But I think it's just cool to have something that people can read, you know? And if people want to buy the paperback when it's finished, when it's ready. 12. 12 was the first one? Okay, let's see what that one... We're going to find out what the element is. That's 12. And a mutation ID. Someone call out a number. The first one that calls out between 1 and 45. Let's see what comes up here. We have lucky number 33. Okay. So let's just run it. We'll see what happens. I don't have the actor rancher entity set up for that, but if the programming is correct, he should show up. Well, let's give him a nickname. Someone in the chat call out a nickname, and we'll give him a nickname. We'll open his stats. Yep, he's element silver. And he's got lumps. He's lumpy. But he doesn't have a nickname yet. I actually added to Pablo. This is Pablo now. Here we go. So we go to nickname. Nickname. Pablo? Sick. I don't know. I think I need to restart. It's really, really slow in here. Or it's because I have a in my save data, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of entries in there. Should be fine. Okay, we're gonna close that. All right. Now, if we run it, it should say his name properly in there. Oh, there we go. That's it. And his name shows up there. Pablo, silver element. So let me just make some logic here so that we can see him on screen. Since we're kind of, I feel a little attached to Pablo now. Let's just see. Okay, so I have a ranch entity, right? And that's the logic for the ranch entities always exist. So I'm gonna duplicate that. Okay, auditioning. So if we take that ranch entity, we have two there entities. Now what should... I don't know if I have to do anything extra. I don't know if I have to do any extra work right now. So let's... To make that... entities... I spelled that wrong. Entities... Did I? Entities. Entites. Okay. So let's just go ahead and make sure that we can see Pablo actually be populated into the logic of the ranch now. So let's see. Set up ranch entities. See? So I've already called this logic. That exists, so I should not have to do any work. I think the past version of myself already made it. Let's find out if it works. We're going to hit the run button, and we'll see if Pablo shows up. I'm genuinely excited because I didn't know what was going to happen, but it looks like the past version of myself already did all the work, which is so nice. That means that I don't have to do it. So, there we go. There's Pablo. So you can see all of us working together. We added in the data, in the save data, and Pablo is here on the ranch with us. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's go. This is... I cannot remove this guy from the save data now, as I kind of feel attached to him. Definitely save just in case. I'm gonna drop. Thank you for the streaming. It was great to see you. Thanks for hanging out. JDF Skits, Pablo and his stylish hair. That's number 33. So his hair that you see there, that Pablo has. I'll just move this guy, and then we'll be able to see Pablo better. Whoever called out mutation number 33, that's the lumpy hair that he has. There he is. And then the silver element has the little spark. Oh, it's got the same little lumps as this guy. So now we need to make it so, see how I can press A and it still opens that? There's no characters there, it's opening. So we will have to add logic so that that does not happen. So let's look at, they have, so let me see if past me is going to make this work correctly as well. We'll go to training, we'll select Pablo, weight lift, right? Defense will go up. And now Chunky will do woodchop. So here's a problem. It's not selecting the right Goobuddy. See, the Goobuddy's already training, so I will have to fix that. That's something that's wrong. See, it thinks Chunky wants to train when it should be Pablo. Pablo's supposed to be training, so we will have to fix that. Let's go ahead and fix that now. Okay. So if I control F is the most important, useful thing, because otherwise you've got thousands and thousands of lines to go through. Control F, find. Whew. Now I think I would have. Is it start training? Is this it? Process training logic? No, it's lower down. It would be starting. Refresh training details. Attempt start training. That's what I want. So I need to figure out what's going wrong here. I have current party member ID in focus. Now this is not being set correctly. Why is this not being set correctly? This should be cursor row plus member count offset. But cursor row plus member count offset. Now the member count offset is a number that is set when you change the corral. You have different corrals. You can only have 5 Goobuddies in one corral, and then you go to other corrals. So cursor offset is what's not working correctly. So, why is that? Pablo was our baby. Oh, we'll be back. We'll stream again. Pablo will still be here. Is that a GameCube remote? This is actually it's meant for the Switch, and it's got USB on it, and it works on PC for some reason. Thoughts on Unreal Engine blueprints? So that sort of a physical, not physical, but like a visual interface. That has issues with scalability. Like this stuff, it's harder to look at this. It's less readable. The blueprints in Unreal are more readable, but they're less scalable. Something like this is significantly more scalable. It's less readable. So there's strengths and weaknesses. You're meant to use both C and blueprints. Or is it C++ in Unreal? So I just need to figure out why this isn't working. Attempt start training. I think this is supposed to be remembered. Cursor. I think it's meant to be cursor row previous. Let's go ahead and try that. I'm gonna punch that in there and see if that works. Code is always more scalable. Hey Wayne, good to see you. You saw my 2 videos this morning, didn't you? Yeah. So there's certain things where, for example, like controlling animation logic. In the past, when I was creating games that had 3D animations, I controlled them through code. Like what you saw is code, and it's a nightmare. Oh, it's the worst thing. But the animation system in Unity is visually based, and it's so much easier. It makes way more sense to control things. I don't have something here to show you, but it's visually based. So a visual interface is well suited towards certain things, and code is suited towards certain things. There's a time and a place for everything. I'm gonna run it, and then I'm gonna see if training works properly. Oh, you have that controller alone with the wireless version. Oh, nice. These are so convenient. Okay, so we'll go to training. Let's see if it works correctly. We did it. Pablo started training, and I only needed to change one thing, and that's cursor row previous. Now, cursor row previous, I used that variable to keep track of that there. Yes, C# can be used in Unity. Yes. C# is my favorite programming language. I've used other ones, but C# is just my favorite. I can really, like, if you can use C, if you can understand C, you should be able to use any C-based language. So there's something you might not be able to notice here because it's not that visible, but when your monster is using a training apparatus, there is a physical element to it. So say, for example, if they're carrying like a barbell, I'll just change the graphics here so you can see it a bit better. This is an apparatus pool. In one of my previous recent videos, I explained object pooling. So here's an example of an object pool. This is an apparatus pool, and it keeps track of 12 different apparati. Is that plural? I'm going to change it to the carry position to be front, and you'll see the difference there. So this is a parent object. It's got a bunch of these. See how they're disabled? If I enable them, we'll see that these objects always exist. These are created when the room is started up or the scene starts up, and they always exist. I disable them, and I only enable them when I need them. This is object pooling. If I were to create these apparatus props, that's how you get memory leakage. That's how your game performance gets worse and worse over time. So we'll go to training, and then we should see both of our wonderful boys and Pablo. We should be seeing them carry the object now. So we'll go to training, Pablo, and you can see he's holding an object there. So when he's walking around the ranch, you'll see him carrying that. So you'll know what training they're doing. Okay, there we go. I have both of them training now. Did it. Oh, nice interface there. Hey, thanks for that. Yeah, there's something a little bit too dense about modern interfaces, and I just kind of miss, you know, the vintage stuff. Cool. I've been wanting to make a game in Unity, but it would be 2D because I don't think 3D would do my brain any good. 2D's, it's a lot easier to keep track of when you're developing. Try Game Maker as well. Game Maker might be a little easier to learn than Unity. We'll get them training, and as you can see, you can buy more. You can buy more apparatuses. Let's get. This is tough though when I'm developing these things, especially a game like this. I just want to actually play it because I want to see my stats go up. Like, you guys get it, right? You want to see your stats go up and up. So during development, I do get sidetracked working on games because I want to, like, I've had games in the past that I was developing where I accidentally wasted too much time just like grinding for equipment, you know? I mean, you know it, right? You're looking for like a certain drop, and you're like, oh man, if I can just get one with like a really good ability attached to it, you know? Are you talking about animator or animation? Do you even have animators in this Unity version? Dr. Lamington. Yeah, I think Dr. Lamington knows what's up. This is a very old version of Unity, but this one does have animators in it. I'm using an old version of Unity because old versions of Unity run way faster and way smoother. So I can actually develop my games significantly faster by using a very old version of Unity, and then I switch up to a newer version of Unity when I need to bring it to a certain platform. The newer versions of Unity are very sluggish, and they slow me down, whereas this version of Unity can keep up with me. Yeah, Wayne's right. Try Game Maker. Oh, that was good. I can just see them move around with the objects. So cute. You got it. That's it. They walk around the ranch, you know, and they're carrying whatever thing they're training with. I think that kind of thing is cool. That's what I like to see in a game. If you get sidetracked playing your own game, it's a good sign. I've had like I wouldn't say, you know the feeling when you lose a save file. It's the worst feeling when it comes to anything related to a game. And I've had situations where I'm developing a game where I know that I have to reset my save file, but I know that I had actually just like got a bunch of cool loot in there. It's like really good skills and really good abilities. And there's moments where I'm developing a game, it's like, this part sucks. I have to reset my save file. That's the worst. Okay, so we need to make our actions visible now. So what we'll do, let me go ahead and find, okay, this is the stats menu, as you can see there. Okay, so let me take a look at the logic. These, again, this is stub logic. It's a placeholder. So window actions is what I have here. If I move that, oh, that's it. Yep. And I'll hide the character menu now since we don't need that one right now. So window fill, select member. And this action slot branch. The F key is the most important key. For example, if the camera is way over here, if I select an object in my hierarchy, if I press F on the keyboard, look what happens. It brings the camera over to look at that object. This is the most important key, basically, is F. Also, when you're doing code, Control F is extremely useful. That's very cool. Hydration checks everyone, drink water. You're right, thank you. I have my coffee here. I'd forgotten about it. I forgot about my coffee entirely. Thank you, Hex. Skip my asset store question, but answer received. Oh, a Gathian spy. I'm sorry I missed it, but I answered it? Did I answer it? You can ask it again just so I can be sure. Do they require a subscription to use your game engine? I hate how I play a subscription for a program that I can physically... Oh, I know. A lot of the software I use is from 2016 because that's around the year where companies started their subscription models. So a lot of my stuff is 2016 or older, and that software does the exact same thing that modern software, the newer versions do, except I don't have to pay every year. So that irritates me. I'm really irritated by Microsoft as well doing their subscription thing. If you press F twice, it follows the game object in play mode. Ooh, yes. They've disabled that in some versions of Unity for some reason. Like the newer versions, the F key doesn't work the same. Unless they've changed, like, whatever hotkey it is. Unity does not require a subscription. That's right. And I'm pretty sure Game Maker Studio is now totally free as well. I think in the past they sort of asked you to pay a subscription, but I think it's totally free now. Sorry, I hope I'm not making a gulping sound into the microphone. Okay, so you can see these slots here. Again, this is about reusable logic. So I only need to create the logic once, and then I can reuse it. So I can see that there. And so this is the script that governs the logic for the action slot. This means that I can reuse this logic. This is for the menu, but if I wanted to display the actions and their descriptions during battle, then I just need to reuse this. I don't need to create it all over again. I've saved myself work. You should have a renewable attitude when it comes to whatever programming logic that you are creating. It should be reusable and renewable. I don't know why I said renewable. That's not even a way that you would describe anything programming. For some reason, renewable just sounded cool. So I said it. You should have said reusable. Action slot range. Ew, numbered should be action slot range eyes. Well, actually, no. It's these are changeable. These change, like they are numbered because those are not preset elements in there. They change. That's just placeholder visuals. So it looks interesting to me. So let's go ahead and just let's see if the logic is in there. So you can see this is what you call a stub. It's a placeholder. It doesn't actually have the logic yet, but I can reference it. You can see that it already has references to all of the game objects that I need, and I can reference this stub. And now I need to fill in the actual logic here. So I'm going to go public void refresh display data. Now, a mistake that you might make is you'll think you need to update this information every frame, and you do not need to update this information every frame. This is why I don't use the word update. If you look at any of my programming, any of my scripts, I don't have a single function that says something like update display data, because update, in the terms of this development environment for Unity, update means every frame. That's just sort of hard-coded into it. Update or late update, that's every frame. So if you use the word update, it means that you're doing it every frame. So I never use that. I use refresh display data, which means I only change the data when it is necessary to change it. You do not need this information here to be updated every single frame. If you do that, not only will it generate garbage, which leads to memory leakage, but it has a significantly negative impact on performance. You're going to see a lot of AAA titles out there that most likely the developers don't understand that, and these AAA titles are running like absolute garbage because they do things like updating the UI data on every single frame. And I can tell that's what's going on because there shouldn't be anything else in their game that is taxing the frame rate. So I'm seeing that a lot on AAA titles where people don't seem to understand that concept. So I use this refresh, and I only change the data when it is necessary, which means I only change it when this window is open. What's up? I love your vids. Hey, Chris Akers, what's up? We're hanging out and we're working on Goobuddies right now. We're programming the menus, which is it's not fun. I'm gonna say it now. Programming menus is not fun. It's so grindy. I'm gonna ask Claude what renewable code is. I guess that's a term that we have now is renewable code. It's not reusable. That's something else. Renewable is something else. What are some of your fave games growing up? Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Resident Evil 1 and 2, Final Fantasy 7, Breath of Fire, Super Mario All Stars, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic and Knuckles, you know. Super Smash Bros. 64. I was gonna say GoldenEye, except I never owned GoldenEye. My friends had GoldenEye, and then they were good at it because they owned it, and then I would get slaughtered in GoldenEye. So I'm gonna say that I never actually enjoyed GoldenEye uh, because my friends always destroyed me in it. Okay, so what we want is we're gonna reference a database file. Right now, all I care about is the name. Yeah, we want the database file. So if I start typing data in here, it's going to bring up any classes that have the word data in there. And I created this. This is database action. And I go in action now. You'll see the definition for my arguments here. You'll always see the word in when it comes to my code. Always has the word in. Now you might be asking why would you always have that in there as an argument is because let's say I use action, right? But then you might also have a reference to something here like that. It's very common for you to do that, database action, to reference something. But now there's obfuscation because if you need to reference that, you need to say action dot name. Now the program isn't going to know whether you're talking about this action or that action. It's been obfuscated. It's very problematic. And this can happen extremely easily. This is actually quite common. It's a very easy mistake to make, even if you're very experienced. You can make mistakes like that. If you look at a script like this is massive, right? This isn't anywhere near complete, this script, and it's already at 1,300. So that is why I always, when I have my arguments here, I always have the word in. And this is something that you can do as well. Is if you have in there, then you'll know exactly which one you're talking about. Whether you have action up there, now I can go in action. I always know which one I'm working on. So this is just something that's useful to me. Yeah, that's referencing either a property or a function of the database item. So I want to update the text name. So let's just take a look at action slot here. The only thing I care about right now, we'll do one thing at a time. We'll do text name, and that is this here. If I click on that, you'll see that it highlights this here. And right now that says action name, okay? So first thing we want to do is update that. So we'll refresh the display data. We have text. So let's just start again from scratch. We have that. We have text name dot text is equal to in action dot item name. There we go. One thing at a time. Try to switch to music that's a little more chill here. Let's go a little chill. Okay, so now that we do have the logic in there, we need to call this. We need to call this from somewhere else. So when the stat window is opened, this needs to be called. So I'm going to find my script. Oh, there it was. So I'm going to type in action slot just to see if I have action slot referenced anywhere. So action slots, and it looks like I do not. So if you look on the right here, you'll see an orange square. That lets you know that you have referenced that somewhere, but I do not have that referenced anywhere, okay? So that means that that is not referenced, okay? So what we want to do is iterate. We'll use a for loop, go through the entirety of action slots, and then we will call the update, the refresh function. So we'll use a for loop for integer I is equal to 0, I is less than action slots dot length, and I++. Okay, and I apologize if I'm not reading the chat. I actually do have to focus a little bit on my work. And so this is going to go through every single item that is in action slot, every element that's in action slots. It's going to iterate through all of them, which is what we use I for. And what we want to do is call my refresh display data. And refresh display data is what we just went through here. And refresh display data, we do need to define the database action. So let's go ahead. And that's actually where we're going to run into our first complication, is that your creature, their actions that they know, you have to be able to reference that somehow. So we have creature in party, that's the data that's in your save data, that's the actual member. And let's see if we have reference to the core. We do need the core. So the core stores all the database information. The core is never changed. I can show that to you later. The core has access to every single thing in the database, whether that be your species, your elements, your actions. They're all referenced in the core, but that data is immutable. It cannot be changed. The game manager, in the way that I design games, the game manager stores the state of the game. That means that things in the game manager can be changed. Like your progress. It keeps track of your changed state and your progress. So what we'll do is we'll go core actions, and then the which number element in the actions is our member in focus dot actions learned I, and we're using I there. Okay, so let's have a look at our save data for our character. We've now gone through that. This is technically still just a stub because it doesn't have all the logic in there. So let's look at our save data for our little buddy. We have two. We have Chunky and Pablo, right? That's Pablo. This is Chunky. And if we need to find his values here, we need actions learned. If we open that, we have 10, and they're all zeros, which means he hasn't learned anything, so we'll have to populate that. So I'm just going to quickly put in 1, 2, I'm just going to put a couple values in there. So if I do this 1, 2, 3, we should see some information come up with the logic here, okay? But we do need to go to the core, and I don't think I've actually put the actions in yet. So you see how there's 0? So I'm going to go ahead and lock that. And the reason why I haven't put them in there is I'm still organizing, right? So go ahead and go to none, and I'm just going to randomly put them in there. So right now this is temporary. This is just placeholder. So I'm going to grab all. This is extremely useful. If you don't know about this, there's a lock button here. If you want the inspector window to stay there, hit that lock button. What it's useful for is if I were to click on these, the inspector would change and this would disappear. And what I want to do is select multiple items and drag and drop into actions. Now, when I say drag and drop, I'm not saying drag and drop. I'm saying dragon, like the mythical creature. So I'm going to drag and drop that in there. And if you don't use that lock feature, you won't be able to select multiple items and drag and drop in there. So that's extremely useful, that little lock button in there. So if I go to the core, 0 is none. We should see ball blasters, ball. I don't know why I can't read. We're going to see ball blaster. Oh my god, I can't read. This is so embarrassing. We're going to see blaster ball storm. We're going to see blaster ball storm, body slam, and cleansing wind. I'm just going to check these elements and make sure that their names are correct. We have body slam. We have the name that shan't be spoken because I can't read. And we're going to have cleansing wind. Okay, so now, if we open the menu and we look at Chunky, he should have that, but Pablo doesn't have anything. We saw our save data. Pablo has all zeros in there. So let's go ahead and run it. What we'll do is we'll now close these. Okay, status, we're going to close status. Ooh, hello? Oh, stats, here we go. Stats. Okay, if we run it, I'm going to use drag and drop from now on. Yeah, I have a hard time saying drag and drop. when I discovered Dragon Prop, it really was transformative for me. Okay, so it says object reference not set to an instance of an object. So let's go ahead and see what mistake I made. And what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking the action slots are not referenced. Text, HP, Game Manager. So here's the thing. What's going wrong is this is being called before this is happening, right? So we'll go like this. And script execution order adds so much complication. You can get real problems when it comes to script execution order. That line should fix it. We'll see. Yes, it fixed it. Wait. No. Open. Yeah, it didn't fix it. So let's see what else is going wrong here. In party member. Was in party member not proper? What's going on here? Text HP. That's a battle stat. Stat. What am I? Sorry, I need to not look at the chat for a second while I see what I did wrong here. No, this was working a second ago. I've broken something. Oh, you know what? Yeah, hold on. If I enable that watch, that's going to fix it. So I do need to come back, and there is a problem with script execution order. So if I click on stats, huh? No? I clicked on enable. If this is open first, then it can get the reference that it needs, and then it'll work. This was working a second ago. See, now it's working. So if I open this, there we go. We have the name that shan't be spoken. We have Body Slam and Cleansing Wind. Now we need to go through and make sure that if there is no action that's available, then we need to hide the visuals for it. What we're going to do now is update it so that it uses the right element icon. So let me go ahead and make sure that the logic is in there. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. I'd say for your building, maybe get into in-editor scripting, so prob in the earlier parts for the player, you could apply similar concepts but at runtime. Interesting. 30% making, 70% debugging. Oh boy, it really depends on the platform that you're deploying to, because some platforms it's like 98% debugging. It's really frustrating. You made a typo on your CS file name for Beast Fang inventory. Beast Fan. No, that's that's a Beast Fan. He's a fan of beasts. Thanks for pointing that out. What's worse, not knowing why it doesn't work, or not knowing why it does? What's worse is not knowing why something does work. Sometimes you'll waste 3 hours and something won't work, and then you'll just do something stupid. You'll do something like this, like that, you know, and then it'll suddenly work, and you'll think, what the hell? No, why does it work now? And that's programming, baby. The in-editor scripting thing was for dude asking something in chat. Oh, okay. It's like when you are doing stuff by yourself, everything goes smooth, but when you are being watched, the program fights you. Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Or it's like, you have something wrong with your car, and then you take it somewhere for someone to look at, and then now your car is not doing the thing that's messed up. That's worse. I think that's way worse. Okay, so let's go ahead and update our action slot. Where do I have Beast Fan again? Beast Fan. I have to fix that. That is awful. Beast Fan. Oh, but if I'll fix it later, because if I change it now, it'll break my references. So I'll make a mental note, and I'll fix it. Thank you for pointing the typo. I work until very late, so if I end up and when it gets to past midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., I'm basically working on autopilot. I'm not even conscious at midnight, and I'm still working at the same speed. I expect myself to work at the same speed at 2 p.m. as I do as 2 a.m. at 2 p.m. So I work fast. I go into a trance and I work very fast at night, and that's why I end up with things like Beast Fan instead of Beast Fang. And Beast Fang is the name of this framework that I'm creating. So if I want to use this for a future game, I can. But I tend to design my games. I create a framework, and then I have more features in the framework than I actually intend to use. So that way, if I decide that I want to expand the game a little bit more and have more mechanical features, then it already exists in the framework. So that's something that I consider during development. Beast Fan. Okay. Image. Image type would be the element. So let's see. Image type. Dot sprite is equal to in action dot. Oh, that should this is a bad. No, that would be a bad way to do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reference the core here as well. But instead of having its own reference, I'll just borrow a reference to the core Beast Fang core. And what we're going to do is core. Is it variance? Variance in action dot display icon element. No, I'm going to do this in a bit more graceful way. We're going to do here. Variance. I apologize if I'm ignoring the chat again. I just need to concentrate for a little bit. So here's the thing: the attacks can be multi-elemental, so I'm not restricting attacks to one element. You see, so that way you can do more creative things from the attack side of things, but I still need to be able to define in terms of the category. So I'm just going to add a little bit of logic here, and what we'll do is I'll do it in like a nice, graceful way here. Is description. We're going to go public Beast Fang database variant. Variant. Okay. Now there should be a reference here. It's going to come up any second, so that's going to expect something. Actually, the item name should be first. I don't know why I put that up there. That's not even good for that to be there. Okay. I will get back to the chat after I just make this functional here. Okay, so I'm just going to pick all of these just for now. Select none as the variant, but I need to make sure I need to come back through everything. I'm just going to select those now. I don't know why I'm doing it in such a weird way. I'll just pick slime, right? Just for now. So what we're now going to do is on the action slot, we'll go core.get oh, you know what? I need to create the logic there really quick. I just need to program a little bit more logic. So what the logic is going to do is if I ask the core, if I give the core an element, I want the core to give me the ID of that element. And I just realized I'm creating. I don't even need to do this right now, because I just realized how silly it is for me to do this when there's a simpler solution right now. But I'm good. I don't even need to do this right now. I've said it multiple times. I don't know why I'm doing this right now. Okay. I'm gonna have to do this. See, here's the thing. Future me is gonna have to do this. If I don't do it now, future me will have to do it. So I'm thinking if present me does it, future me won't have to worry about it. That's my logic here. Okay? So I can input an element and then I can get the ID number of it. Not a big deal. I don't even need to do that. I don't actually need that right now because I've already defined variant in there, so I don't need that logic. I can go variant dot, I think it's icon small. There we go. Okay, so now it should update all of these, so when I have the attack open, Slime will be there, and this is asking for something here. What did I do? What have I done? It's asking for the core, but see, I don't actually need the core anymore, so I'm gonna remove that. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? I don't need that right now. I might later. I'll come back. Okay, okay. If I open this, it should all be. Oh, you know what? I want to make sure that I'm just gonna check that I have put the actual element icons in there. I may not have. Yeah, I have. So when we open this, they should all be the slime icon. Yep, there we go. Our logic works. There we go. We have the name that I can't pronounce, Body Slam, Cleansing Wind. What we want to do now is input our power. So we'll be there. We'll now put the power and the recoil, and then after that, we'll update the icon for the target type. So we'll do those three things next. I'll hang out in the chat. We'll chat a little bit, and then I'll update that stuff. You don't want to break all the references. Yeah, you got it. Agathian Spies. If I change the class name right now, it's going to break stuff, and then it's not hard to fix, but it's just I'd have to go back and fix it. And I don't want to. If something really bad goes wrong, I don't want to bore you in the chat while I try and fix it. It's okay to lock in. Yeah, sometimes you do have to lock in at work. Funny thing, I was building out some boundaries for a level when I saw the notification Sungran was live. Yeah, it's awesome. So we both get to make games at the same time. This is really cool. It's kind of like we're in an open space office. A whole lot of extruding, grabbing, repeat, and blender monotonous stuff. Yeah, you know, this stuff is monotonous. It's yeah. You know what I do? Right now I'm on episode 36. I'm rewatching G Gundam. I'd forgotten. Oh man, I'd forgotten how much I love this show. I don't use the word love that much because that's reserved for like people you really, really care about. I love G Gundam. Holy crap! It's the page is unresponsive. I don't know why it says that. But I've got that off to the side, so I can catch up on stuff. I mean, there's other Gundam series that I'm catching up on that I've missed as well. Just started learning Unity. Hey, Vandaria, good to see you. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to stream more regularly, and then if you have any questions or need some advice, you can feel free to ask it here. And hopefully you can pick up some useful tips here. Thank you for streaming. Oh, thanks for coming to hang out. To be honest, a lot of this is boring, and I don't want to be negative, but a lot of this work is boring because it's so grindy. So it's pretty fun just getting to chat with you guys and hang out. Okay, so I'm going to now fix the logic so we can display our text tower. So what you can do, right, you can just start typing it. Once you start typing it, similar stuff will come up, and you can click it like that. Or you can just copy and paste it. If it's pretty close, I'll just copy and paste it. It saves me having to type. It's just optimizing a little too much, you know, but anything that saves me a second, all those seconds will add up, you know. In action, power. I want to make sure that I'm asking for the right value. Astrolo beam. Whoa, that sounds cool. So the value I want is effect strength. That's what I want here. There's a lot going on with the attacks here. Effect strength. I hope you enjoy the music. This was from Silverfall's Gaiden, Deathly Delusion Destroyers. I'll turn it up a little bit because this is one of my favorite tracks that I've done. Copy and pasting too much. Hold on. And by seconds. Yeah, that's the music's from Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers. Some of the battle music. I had so much fun making that soundtrack. This is one of the tracks I'm really happy with. Text and lag. Let me know if it's too loud at any point. And then we have like this chill vibe immediately. This is from Silver Falls, Ruby River. And Ruby River and Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers were packaged together. So with those 2 extra lines, let's go ahead and have a look at our logic and see if that works. Sounds awesome. Hey, thanks for that. You could listen to that for free if you want. It's on my Bandcamp. Okay. There we go. It's updated. Have a look. So recoil is 2.5. You can see that. 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds. So what I want to do is add an S after it, so we know that it's talking about time. There's a couple ways to do that. You know, there's like super efficient ways to do it. And then there's like memory leaky ways to do it. This is a lazy way to do it right now. Like in general, like, oh, use the string builder and concatenate and append and do this, and it's just kind of like, I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna not use the string builder. I'm gonna chuck that in there. And it's, look, I'm human, right? Like there's gonna be some times where it's, you know, ugh, you know, right. I want S. Put the S in there for seconds. Oh, hold on. I'm very silly. It should only be for end lag. Okay, and then next we'll update our Frizzle stats. There we go. And now we have S. But we also want to not draw these here. See? So now we're going to add in the logic to where if the value is 0, because again in our save data, these are 0, and we'll get rid of them. We won't display them. We also want to update the icon for target mode as well. So let's go ahead. Oh, we might need to reference the core for that. I think I will. Okay. So let's see if past me put those in a holder. Stats. I can see it there. No, past me. Why? Okay. You know how in the last slot that we had, I already had a holder in there? These are not in a holder. I think because I must have done this one really late at night when I was on autopilot. Otherwise, you know. Not it's just then I have to call a game. Okay. So you see how I have multiple. Actually, this is a very good learning opportunity or teaching opportunity. So you see, I have multiple occurrences of this, right? So I only need to change one of these because these are all based on a prefab, and a prefab is a template. So if I change one and then apply the changes to the prefab, then I don't need to do the work multiple times. I only need to do the work once. So now I have a content holder. Let's go ahead and reference that in there. Yes, content holder. Very good. We're going to take all of our contents and put them inside the content holder. Continue. And you see how these have not changed yet. These other ones. Now, on this bad boy, if I hit apply here, it looks a little bit different on newer versions of Unity. This one's an older one. If I hit apply, it's going to apply the changes to all those other ones, so I don't have to do the work multiple times. And you can see now the changes have applied to the other ones. So it's important to use prefabs when they are appropriate. Unreal calls them something else. I forgot what they're called. I've used Unreal a little bit. So now we're able to disable the content. Let's go ahead and create that logic now, okay? So let's look. I'm going to Control F this. Project. Okay, so we'll do this. We're going to copy that, and we're going to say if that is equal to 0, then we'll go like this. No. Now. I don't know why I'm mucking around here. Content holder dot set active is equal to false. actions. Oh, this is... I don't know why I'm moving around so much. I'm just fooling around here. Fooling around too much is what's going on. Okay, so if it's equal to 0, we'll hide the content, and if it's not equal to 0, then we'll go ahead and make it true, and we'll just go ahead and go like that. And this logic should work. I don't see a problem here. So now when we open up our stats, those other actions should no longer be visible because there's no move that's been learned. Is this game a first-person or a third-person view? It's, I suppose it's first-person. You're looking at it as the rancher. Okay, stats. Okay, so I... Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm running into the same problem. I'll fix it. I'll fix it later. Did you do the character models yourself? Yes, yes. That's something I take the most pride in, is creature design. And it's probably because I'm a massive monster game fan, and I love monster movies. So that's probably why I take so much pride in creature design. And it's one of my favorite things is creature design. I just want to come up with cool monsters because I know how much people like monsters just from like a cool design, right? There's something about a cool creature design when you look at it, whether it's something scary or cute or just weird or jacked up. We become attached to these designs immediately, right? Have you ever seen a design where you looked at a creature and you, within a split second, you knew, oh man, I love this thing. That's the appeal of creature designs. No other aspect of gaming, I think, has that kind of appeal where you see something and you immediately know, dude, I love this thing. Okay, the logic worked, so all that stuff is gone now, see? And there we go. Pablo's got nothing, so let's call out some numbers in the chat. I call out some numbers in the chat, and then we'll give Pablo some moves. Put him in there. 1 to... There's a lot of moves in here. I don't know. 1 to 100. Call out numbers. Just look at Silverfall's Miracle Makeout Mania. I hope you had a laugh. I built up... So, Makeout Miracle Mania is an April... I launched the game on April Fools, but the game itself is actually canonical to the Silverfall series. But I led up to that for like 2 years. I told people I was going to make a joke. I told people, oh, I'll make a dating game where you make Silverfall's characters kiss by closing the thing. And then, like the 3rd year, instead of making the same joke, I said, no, I've actually made the game and you can download it now. Nobody believed me. They said, ha ha ha, very funny. And I said, no, guys, go to the itch.io and download the ROM. You can play it. And people were so apprehensive. They were saying, like, this is still a joke, right? And I said, no, the game's real. So eventually people downloaded it. They were like, oh my god, dude, I cannot believe you actually made the joke game. And yeah, your high score, you try to get a high score by guessing which characters want to kiss each other, and you close the DS screen to make the 2 characters kiss, because there's a character on either screen, and when you close the screen, they kiss. And that was the joke. And I made it happen. And if you make 2 characters kiss and they don't want to kiss, you lose points. So there we go. I love April Fools and I love Halloween. I'm not sure. I normally do a Halloween homebrew game, and I think I'm not going to get to do it this year because I'm so busy with Goobuddies. I don't think I'm going to get a Halloween homebrew this year, which really sucks because I love Halloween. It's the vibe, right? It's a cool vibe. I was looking for something, but I forgot about it. I got sidetracked chatting with you guys. Oh yeah, we're gonna give him... Okay, yeah, we're giving him some abilities. Right, there we go. We're gonna give Pablo, our dear, beautiful boy. So Pablo is number 1. We're still calling... You guys can call out more numbers. We can give him a bunch of different... Oh, up to 10 different actions, it says. Okay. Ooh. Kissing in privacy. Alright. And what I love about homebrew is that you can just take creative risks and just make whatever you want. Make a joke game, make something silly. You know why it's sluggish in here? It's because the save data references. Hold on. No, yeah, it references 600 potential monsters, so it gets a little sluggish when I open the save data. That's what's going on here. Um, See, and then it's not sluggish, well, as sluggish when I close it. Okay, so I want to go to the core, and I want to make sure. So I can close it. I want to make sure that I just reference all the moves that should be in there. So what we'll do again, we're going to click on the lock button there. That stops the inspector from changing. Let's go ahead and put all of these abilities in there. This is Ruby River, the title music to Ruby River. Listening to. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got to get all of our elementals, all the gem exclusives. These you can only learn from eating a goo gem. We got a seven. See, there's a lot. There's so many different actions in this game, but I need to come back and do this in an organized manner. So this is just temporary, the way that I'm doing this right now. Okay, dragon drop. That's enough for now. We have 110 in there. Let's go ahead and close out of that. And now, when we open this, let's go ahead and run the logic, and we should see Pablo should have a couple moves now. He'll have some actions. This is music from Silver Falls Ruby River. Okay, so we have a problem. We have an object reference is not set to an instance of an object. Let's go ahead and find out what the problem is. And it's on the action slot reference data. Image type. The image type is not set. Let's go ahead and figure out what went wrong. Image type. Okay. The variant was not set on those. That's the problem. So this is something that I should do it now actually because it's not. So I can chat. I can hang out and chat with you guys because this step here is going to be a little grindy and boring. So it's okay for us to just chill while I actually do this. So let's see here. Do you do consulting for any devs? I don't. I'm not doing consulting right now, but I'm happy to share advice if you just want to. You know, like some people send me DMs and will even for over the course of a couple days they'll just ask me for some advice or things like that. If it's not like if it's not taking up a huge amount of my time, I'm happy to share some advice. A little bit of consultancy, but there's a limit to sort of what I'll provide when it comes to that. So these are body type, right? Yeah, these are body type. Make sure that's correct in the body type. These are also body type. Body. Okay, we have earth element here. That's where we got our error message, is some of them don't have the variant set. Variant is the in-engine language I use, or the in-framework. This is a framework. This is the framework term I use for element. Okay, variant. This should be electricity. I was so torn. I wanted to call the element thunder because it sounds cooler. And I still might. I might change it in game so it's referred to as thunder. But right now it's referred to as electricity. But I think it just sounds cooler to say that it's thunder element, right? This is gold. This step is a little grindy. It's necessary, but that's just how it is. Hey, Caitlin, how's it going? What platform? This will be for Steam, for Switch. Someone asked if I'll bring it to Mac, so I'll figure out a version. I'll figure it out. I can put it on Mac. I'll figure it out. Um, I'll make a version for Android. I'm not making a version for iOS because that would be very expensive for me. It would mean I'd have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars buying all new Mac computers and the iPad and the iPhone. I'd have to buy all that stuff and then to test it and yeah, all that stuff. And I don't really want to spend thousands of dollars just to launch it on Apple products right now. what? Well, I used to develop on and put things on iOS, but I don't like how Apple keeps forcing me as a developer. They keep forcing me to buy new computers and then buy all of the new iPads and iPhones. They sort of said, "Oh, well, you're not allowed to use that older hardware. You have to use the newer. You have to buy the new stuff." And I sort of look at it like, so you want me to spend like 6 grand right now to keep developing for iOS? And for me, that just I didn't really have a reason to do it, you know. So, how do you become a game developer? I want to be one. Hopefully, go for it. You just start learning. Right now, there are so many resources online for you to start learning game development. The best thing to do is find a game engine that is easy to get into. So I recommend something like Game Maker or RPG Maker. They're very good. RPG Maker is the very best learning tool there is. It's often on sale on Steam. I recommend, there's RPG Maker MV, MZ, XP, you know, there's there's a bunch of different versions. They all basically do the same thing, but it's an excellent learning tool. The most important thing when it comes to game development is to learn how to take an idea from your mind and make it functional. How to take an idea out of your head and make it work, make it into a functional product. That is the most important thing. And using an engine like Unity or Unreal gets in the way of your learning process because these are commercial level tools. They're very powerful, but because they're so powerful, it's difficult to learn on them. So it's more helpful to you to use a tool such as RPG Maker. While it is simpler, it's not as strong as Unreal or Unity. They allow you to learn game development concepts. And the best thing you can do is look at example projects and start modifying things in the example projects. That's where things like Game Maker are very good. Phantom. You know what sort of drives me when it comes to creating these actions of different elements? What drives me is thinking about how broken Gen 1 was for Pokemon. Red, blue, and yellow. And even in gold, silver, and crystal, they were, in terms of balance when it comes to the move types, they were so broken. You know, you had like Twin Needle for bug type, and that was it. And then dragons had like, what move did they have? Ghost had like lick or whatever. It's like this is so broken when it comes to balance. Like there's no balance here. There's some move types have nothing in them. Sweet. Uh, Chris Akers, I published my first game on iOS. Well done, congratulations. Yeah, nice one. But similar issue. After a while, I couldn't develop on the newer versions of Xcode uh, because it stopped receiving updates. Exactly, and I find that that's anti-consumer, and that really ticks me off. You should be doing everything as a company. You should be doing everything you can to make it easier for your developers to work. But Apple, that doesn't matter to them. People will develop for Apple anyway, so their approach is why not charge people more money then? Why not force people to spend more money on our products? That's why they're so profitable. Is this is the approach they take is profit above anything else. And so that's why I'm not developing. If I was allowed to use my older hardware to develop for iOS, then I would still be launching stuff on iOS. Okay, I'm going back to general, and I am going to just adjust these. So these are okay. They shouldn't all be body types, should they? Body. Oh, you know what? No, I have the general thing here. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and save. And if we run this now, there shouldn't be an issue. If we open this, Pablo should have some actions there. Hello, Sir Sweet. Thank you for your answer. I look forward to trying it once you finish. Thanks for that. And I hope you do try. Um, if there's anyone out there that wants to get into games, let's go ahead and look at Steam right now. Steam RPG Maker. Let's just see what they have. So let me go ahead and open my stats. We'll look at Pablo, our beautiful boy. Oh! Whoa, he's got some good stuff. Somebody picked, you guys picked these moves. Let's put some more numbers in the chat, 1 to 150 or whatever it is. And we'll give Pablo some more moves. So Pablo has Epsilon Blaster. We should also, oh, I haven't put in all the descriptions, but we do want to update this so that we get to see the usage rate. And actually, I need to change that. That's supposed to be minimum intelligence now that I think about it. So let's do that next. But first, we'll look at Steam. So this is what we'll update next. Next, we'll update the description box. But these are pretty cool moves. Hyper Lance is power of 14, 4 seconds recoil time. Epsilon Blaster, oh dang, that's a strong one. 4.5 seconds recoil, 28 power. Ice Ball, 5.5 seconds of recoil. That's wrong. This we still haven't put the logic in there in terms of what the target is. We'll fix that. So let's look at Steam. 55. Was it 1 to 150? It's 1 to 150. 3? 50. Okay, we'll give them these moves here. People are calling out numbers. We'll see what other moves we get. I love this step of just giving dudes skills and then trying them out in game. It's so fun watching all the moves work. Okay, this is Pablo. Let's go to his list. Actions learned. What numbers are we calling out here? 55. Lucky number 1. 34 and 3. Okay, so those are in the save data. Let's go ahead and close the save data now. And on the core here, I just need to make sure that I put more of the moves in because I have not put them all in. I'll come back later and do this in an organized manner. But I know these moves. Oops. See how I didn't put the lock in there? Let's go ahead and hit that lock button just there. Very useful button. I think I meant to, yeah, put those in there. Actions. So right now we're at 150, and there's still more. I think there's more actions that I haven't put in the database yet. So now they're in there. So when we see in the save data, you know how I showed you the save data and we put the numbers in there. The numbers correspond to this. So the core stores all the database information. And this information is immutable, it cannot be changed. So if you have a number in your save file for your character and you have the ability or the action number 55, he's going to have Spikeify. So let's go ahead and close this. We'll run it and we'll see now. You should have some more actions in there. Next, we'll do the description box as well. Okay, Pablo. See, he's got more stuff. I was right. Called it. Spikeify. See? You see the logic there. He has Hyper Lance, Spikeify, Coagulate, Cleansing Wind. Coagulate increases your viscosity. Viscosity is a very important stat when it comes to a Goobuddy. Okay. So this is what I recommend. If you just want to start game development, I strongly recommend RPG Maker. Get it when it's on sale. Because it's a very good learning tool. It may not be the type of game you want to make, but this is still the best learning tool possible. I've used so many different game engines. This is kind of pricey. This is Australian dollars as well, otherwise known as dollar dues. But they often go on sale for a very good price. There's other versions of RPG Maker, so let's just go ahead and use the search. What's so great about RPG Maker is that it uses a drag and drop system. Again, I'm not saying drag and drop. I'm saying drag and drop like the mythical creature. I would probably grab VX. Is often on sale for $10. So add it to your wish list. This is 58 Australian, but it often goes on sale for $10 or something like that.
but it uses a drag and drop system. You can see you select your tiles, you build your world. You have this sort of system here where you can define your character's stat growth. You can define the weapons that they use. It's a visual interface that lets you build everything. You don't need to do any coding. It's what you see is what you get. This is the very best, and this is hands down the very best way to learn game development is a visual interface like this, because if you can see it, you can understand it and learn it more effectively. I agree. When you're learning game dev, having any amount of help to simplify the process is so much better. Yeah, Kalen, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. The problem with Unity, and they're making, adjustments and changes to try and make things more visual, but the problem is that's not an effective way to create a game in Unity. And the best and most effective way to create a game in Unity is with C sharp. Some people want to use JavaScript. You can use whatever you want. C sharp is my favorite. But it's all going to look like this. And if you've never worked in game development, if you've never seen game development, looking at this is very intimidating and it makes no sense. It's nothing. It's gobbledygook if you look at this and you've never done game development. And I don't know if gobbledygook is racist. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or if someone's going to get mad at me because it sounds racist to me. So I don't know why I said it. That's the word that I needed to explain it. But now that I'm saying gobbledygook, it does sound like it's racist. So I don't know if I should find a different word for that. So what I want to do is update the description for the move. So I want to make sure that I have references for the what stats were in there. Let's just take a look at Red Fox. Thank you, Mr. Sundance. See, hopefully I can become a game dev like you. Go for it, absolutely. And something like this is fun, right? RPG Maker is very fun. Where did it go? I don't know where it went. I must have closed the window. Using RPG Maker is very fun. It's a good way to learn. It's fun. But there's other engines. Someone asked me to take a look at RenPy as well. I do want to do a video on that when I take a look at it. Let's just, uh, I'm gonna Google this real quick. And we'll look at RenPy. I want to try this. I want to make a video about it. But first, I want to make a game with it so I can show you what it's like and I can understand it. From my understanding, this is probably the best visual novel maker. And I think a lot of you out there would probably enjoy making a visual novel and would want to. So I can't say anything about this yet because I've never used it. So when I finish Goobuddies and I have time, I will make a game with RenPy and then I'll explain it. But I have a feeling this is going to be very good for people who want to make a visual novel, and I have a feeling it may be a very good learning tool as well when it comes to game development. But you can sort of see the games that this is sick. What is that? Oh, look at the art style on that. That is so sick. Oh my god, there's mechs. There's mechs there. I actually really like. I don't know what this is, but I really like it. There's mechs in the background. I like that. What's this? You pick your character. Okay, you can have different stats with your characters. Yeah, but in general, this looks cool. I really like the style of that. That's cool. This looks great. So in the future, I would like to talk about this. So look into this yourself. If you want to make a visual novel, look into that. Uh, I just don't have time to look into it myself right now, but I do have plans to look at that. And I am looking forward to that because it looks really cool. That looks awesome. RenPy is for visual. Has anyone here used it? Anyone in the chat? RenPy is kind of an in-between from RPG Maker and full-blown engine. Oh, wow, that's good to hear. Nice. RenPy is the best engine for adult games. Yeah, visual novels tend to be more adult. I do hear that. So let's go ahead and update. So, okay, we're looking at home base, and I, um, what do we need? We need the use rate. That's in the stats. Okay, so we want to do is update the usage rate, the percentage, and I need to change this actually. I can make this I can make this say whatever I want. This is my realm. I have the power here. If I wanted this to say lasagna, I could. There, it says lasagna now. You have a stat for lasagna. I have the power to create whatever I want. The power is mine. But it's going to say usage rate. It could be lasagna if I want. This one is going to be min intelligence. Does that make sense though? Required intelligence. Let's just do it that. That's more clear. That makes more sense to people. So required intelligence. And what's that? S. Okay. Yep. Required intelligence. Okay. Oh, hold on. A label. Sometimes I spell label wrong and I don't know why. It's so like I psych myself out. I think that's what it is. I know how to spell label. You know, sometimes I'll do LE and I'll look at it for a second and I say like I shouldn't have second guessed myself. I shouldn't do it. It's like when you're doing archery, sometimes you psych yourself out. You trick yourself into doing a bad shot. You've got your bow and your arrow, you're looking at the target. In your head you're thinking, oh dude, I think I'm gonna mess this one up. And then you psych yourself into it and you do a bad shot. And it just happens sometimes. This is important, very, very important when you're doing your text, your UI text, is your alignment. You want to make sure that it's on the correct thing. Right now the alignment is set to right, so as it will overflow. You see how it starts overlapping? So make sure you set the correct alignment. In this situation, it should be on the left. I used RenPy for a gag visual novel game when my friends and I were exchanging games. We made quick and dirty. That's awesome. See, that's what making games is all about. You know, you don't necessarily need to make big, massive commercial games. Making games should also just be something you can do for yourself and your friends and your family. It's just something fun you can do. It doesn't have to be a huge and massive citywide project. Required intelligence. Okay, so I'm not sure if that's referenced anywhere. Let me go ahead and have a look at my stats. Drink my coffee here. See, here's what's wrong. It says text usage display. This is a very useful trick in Unity as well. Is instead of having, I want to edit this, right? Instead of having to find it there, you can click on this. See that there? The script, double click on that. Sorry, I need to clear my throat. Pardon me, I should get some fisherman's friends. That's one of my favorite shortcuts in Unity. Again, instead of having to manually find that in your project, go ahead and just double click it where it says script there. You can double click it. That will open your script for you. Any Unity tools you would recommend? Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Any tool that you would need, it really comes down to your project and what kind of game you intend to make. There's very few tools where it would apply to every single, project and situation. It really depends on what you want to make. So on my text here, I'm going to change that. Required intelligence. There we go. And then we need to update it because now it's going to disappear. Required intelligence. And now we want to refresh those things. I'm just going to copy them. So here's something that I do. Sometimes when I'm getting a little, I can tell that my brain is fatiguing a little bit, is I'll just grab these and I'll copy them because I know that I'll have a hard time remembering a bunch of things. Like what I need to do is remember that I need to set those values, but I can tell when my brain's a little bit fatigued. I can tell when I'm probably going to get lost because I need to find where I'm supposed to use that. So instead of just trying to remember that I need to edit those or to work with them, I'm just going to copy them and then I'll paste them in so I know. Refresh character details. We want to refresh the action description details. Okay, that's what I want. Paste them in there. And then instead of having, and then you do have to fix it, because if you paste them in there, that's going to happen. Okay. And this is a database action in action. So the usage rate dot text is equal to in action rate usage. I have to look at the data structure. I'm not sure. I am getting a little fatigued right now because I need to have lunch. I think I've been working all morning. I did the 2 videos first thing in the morning, and I haven't had lunch, so I can feel my blood sugar level dropping, and I can tell when my focus level is decreased. So you have to keep track of your stats, like in real life, your personal stats. So I can tell when I'm dropping off a little bit. So the value that I want is usage probability. That's it. Dot usage probability. Where did it go? I picked the wrong one. That's there. I have a different framework in there. I got caught. I picked the wrong one. Database action. There we go. Usage probability. But here's the thing. Usage probability goes up. So if you have a look at usage probability, it takes into account the Goobuddies' intelligence and then the growth rate. So it calculates the intelligence and the growth rate, and then it increases the probability. So I will come back later. But what I will do is this. I'll go buffer. No, float. This is the wrong spot to do this as well. I should be doing this in the game manager. Buffered float, and this is just a temporary value that I can use. So what I'll do is buffered float is equal to, and then I'll take this, and then I'll just say a buffered float to string. And the reason why I do it like this is because this is very readable. This is very easy to see. And what I'll do is I'll leave myself a note. I call it a comeback. It's a keyword that I only use specifically when I know as a developer, as a programmer, I need to come back. And I'll say come back, and I'll say complete the probability calculation. And so when I'm later on in development, I'll go Control F, and then I'll find comeback, and I'll look for, that'll go through all of my scripts, and if it lands on anything, I will know, oh shit, okay, I have a comeback here. I need to finish this. So this is very important to me. All of you will have your own approach. You can do things your own way. For me, this is an extremely valuable tool, is a comeback. And because I know that this logic is not complete. But I also know that I'm a little bit fatigued right now because I haven't had lunch, and I don't feel like thinking about what calculations need to be made in terms of the stats. So I will come back to it later. Okay. Text. And we'll have in action dot required minimum intelligence. And now this is important to take a look. If we have a look at here, it says 0 references, which means I've not called this function anywhere. So, ooh, I'm dropping off. I actually am dropping off here. So there's nowhere else in my game am I asking for this. But this is tricky because you can call an invoke, and you can invoke, which is to sort of ask a function to be called later on. And if you have it in an invoke, you'll still read 0 references. So I know that I have not asked this to be called anywhere. So I'm just going to copy that. And let's see, refresh character details. So every time, I do need this to be called when this is open. So, I actually am getting a little tired here. Core. I'm gonna try and plow through this. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat at the moment. I just got to plow through this. Actions in member. Actions learned. 0. So by default, this is opened by default. Oh no. Cursor row. This is wrong. That's wrong. There's a lot of things that can go wrong here. Because I know that. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, oh, refresh character details when it first opened up, and then open the first slot. 0 is the first action slot. But I know that's wrong because if your Goobuddy completes training and you have the menu open, that it will call this, but then the cursor could be on a different one. So this is wrong. If I call that, there's a chance that that could go wrong. So now what I have to do is I have to reference the home base manager, which is this guy here. And I need to make sure home base manager is referenced. So I need to make sure that one is actually being referenced. And then we will ask for the cursor row. And this, now nothing bad can ever happen. Well, something bad can always happen. But in terms of this situation with the programming, this will work. And now when we go to the home base manager, and sorry, I just gotta go into my programming trance here. I'm gonna look away. I'm not looking at the chat. Pressed. I just gotta finish. I gotta get this done. Pressed D-pad up. Okay, I'm looking for main menu. I'm looking for main menu equals 1. Press. The stats are open. I want to refresh the description details. Okay, so stats display. Character stats display. Okay, so I have the character stats display. There's a row in member. I think this is member in focus. Member in focus current. Focus. Sorry guys, I know it's kind of boring if I'm not looking at the chat, but I actually genuinely kind of need to. I'm gonna. I have something here called an as diff. I roll my fingers across the board and I leave that there, and you'll see that it'll say that there's an error. I use it if I need to go somewhere else in my script and grab some code, and the as diff that'll let me come. That's a little shortcut, a little just a trick. And what I want to do is just grab this code so I don't have to type it all over again. So I look for that code, I copy it. It saves me programming. This is how I'm able to get work done quickly. These are the tricks that I use to get work done quickly. And I come back to my as diff. That lets me know where that is. It's a dumb trick. Okay. And so what I've done is I've grabbed my actions learned. That should be functional. That's up, that's down. That should update. So what I need to do is make sure that my action slots reference. My action slots need to, no? Or is it this guy? This guy. I do need to have lunch because I can tell my focus is disappearing. I didn't. No, that's the wrong one. This is it. Home base manager, stats manager. That's the problem. So this is a good learning experience as well. If you need something to show up in the inspector, you must have public there. If you don't put public, it won't show up. So that's something I missed. My mistake. I do need to have lunch. I can feel it. I'm craving a pizza. Okay, when this compiles, it should show up. There we go. I'll just click on the little button here. I only have one available in the scene. If we open this, it should update the usage rate and the intelligence, and I'll put one more bit of code in there, and it should be the description. So if I start typing description, it should show up, right? Text description dot text is equal to in action dot description. I also have something that I put in these objects, these data structures here. I have developer notes. Developer notes are never seen in game, but they're extremely useful to have. So you have your description where this move does this thing. You have text that can display when you use the move, and then you have developer notes. And these notes can be something like, this move is actually kinda sucky. There, it could be. It's important to have that because you can lose track of you might make a mental note of something and then forget it completely. So now I'm going to close this, and it should work. If we open this, if we open that, the moves should work properly now. Let's see. Slash hungry finish later says so dark. Yeah, it's funny. You'll see sometimes if you go through someone else's code, you might see things. I will catch up with the chat. I just want to make sure this works. Uh, hmm. It worked a little bit, then it stopped working. See how it worked a little, and then now it's not. Cursor row. I want this to work. And then I think I'm going to destroy a pizza. Okay, so we want menu mode that's perform input. This occurs on every frame. Stats, D-pad press up or D-pad up or down. Now, actions learned cursor row. So it should be taking cursor row. That should be this. I know that should be working fine. Refresh description, details, core, actions learned. So why? Okay. Buffer float is equal to usage probability, usage rate, and then in minimum required intelligence. So I'm going to do something here. This is a good tool for debugging is debug.log, right? We're going to go ahead and put that in there. This will put something into the console to help me figure out what's going wrong. So I'm going to put in action.item name. So I just first want to make sure, I want to rule out through process of elimination, I want to make sure that it is giving me the correct data here. So let's go ahead and run it, because I need to figure out why this isn't working. So we should figure it out together. Do you know Japanese, or did you do that as a gag? I don't know Japanese. What is this in relation to? But I love Japanese. I love the language. I love the culture, and obviously, obviously, I love their media. I think that goes without saying. Okay. Oh, so the first one worked, but I pressed down again. See, the first one worked, but I pressed down, and then now it's blank. I'm pressing down again. It's blank again. See? Which means it's returning a value of 0, which I know is the nothing. It thinks there's no item there, which means the first one is working. So the first one is this one. This is working. The secondary ones are not working. So I just need to figure out why it's not working, and I need a pizza so bad. I need a pizza worse than when you're playing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. I need a pizza worse than that. I just want to figure out what this is. Okay. Let's go ahead and chop this up. Okay, so we're looking in the list of actions, which is fine. That's normal. We're getting the current save data, creatures in party, and we're getting the current party member ID in focus, which is fine. We're checking that creatures in party. We're checking the actions that it has learned, and we're going based off the cursor row, which is this bad boy right here. I'm going to catch up with the chat a little bit. If you're in Australia, do you try to write in Australian English in your mind, or do you stick with American English? When it comes to programming, I write in American English. In general, that's just kind of a standard. But it's funny, if I'm texting to somebody or I'm writing something, I tend to write in Australian when it comes to the spelling. Code usage less references can fall through the gaps when using reflection. Yeah. A working man like me needs a working meal like Domino's. Oh, man. You know what is so good is stuffed crust. I wouldn't say I would kill for a stuffed crust right now because it's a very powerful statement to make, but I would pay money for a stuffed crust pizza right now. Oh, you know how good a stuffed crust would be right now? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, my brain is actually it's dipping in power. Which is funny. I mean, for those of you that were here at the start of the stream, you saw I was going pretty strong at the start of the stream. And I'm dropping off here. I need to get some calories pretty soon. I just want to fix this. I've done something wrong and I need to figure out what it is. So this is being called.
The problem is it's returning a value of 0 when it shouldn't be returning a value of 0. So let's go ahead and look at this again. This is not being reset, is it? No. Oh, you know what? This number is not being set. Current party member ID and focus has not been set. So I'm going to paste it. I know it has it because it's returning. No, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. See? If we perform input, no, it's being set here. It's being set here. So, this is what happens when you don't have lunch. This is so embarrassing. My code's not working in front of 57 people. I'm just gonna stare at this. I gotta stare at this and figure this out. This looks like it should work. It's in the list of... That worked the first time. Correction. What if I do this? Member in focus. Hold on. Member in focus. So I refresh the character details. What I'm going to do is this. No. That doesn't seem... No, that would not help. That would not help in this situation. I love stuffed crust. You need food for your gray cells, that's right. I was thinking of this. This is the thought exercise, okay? I want you guys to do this thought exercise with me. What if you had a friend, right? And this is a friend that you've known for a very long time, and you love hanging out. You love all of the same games. You're right. One day you order pizza and you get stuffed crust. You're so ready for stuffed crust. You're sitting there with your friend. Your friend knows it's stuffed crust. And the thought exercise is this. What would you do if you saw your friend eat the pizza, stop at the stuffed crust, leave it on their plate, grab another slice, eating it, and they're not eating the stuffed crust. You see your friend go over to the garbage bin and then drop the stuffed crust in the garbage bin. What would you do? I want you to think about this, because this is something I was thinking about the other day, and it was kind of an upsetting... Yeah, honestly, it's kind of an upsetting thought experiment, because I think... I don't think I could be friends with somebody that does that. What do you guys think of that? So, Tark, you're right. It's times like these you tend to overcomplicate it. The answer will come out of nowhere tomorrow. Force feed the crust. No way. Would you go into the... What would you say to your friend? Would you go into the garbage and take the stuffed crust out? I wouldn't, but a part of me almost would. Action slow. I'm gonna do this. I know this is nothing. That's not gonna help. This is not helping. Oh, you know what? This will help. So this will give me the ID of whatever it's trying to display. Let's go ahead and do that. And now this... I just have to try and like stumble my way through this and brute force it. I would get annoyed and ask if I could eat it first prior to then throwing it out. Oh, Ray, Tesla. So you would preempt them. You would stop them from throwing it away. See, that's thinking ahead. So you're kind of like a falcon eye, and you're watching. Because if I saw somebody not eat the stuff, I'm gonna be honest. If I saw someone not eat the stuffed crust and leave it on their plate, I'm actually gonna watch to see what they do with the stuffed crust, because I find it suspicious if someone does not eat the stuffed crust. It's returning 0. See, I'm pushing up and down. It's returning 0 every single time. So my logic is incorrect. It shouldn't be returning 0.
So let's go ahead and figure out what I done. Oh, hello there. Let's just see what I done wrong. This debug has told me that it's 0.
And the value is actions learned. Okay. Creatures in party.
Hold on. Something, I think this might be wrong here. I may have been right when I was wrong earlier. The member ID is... I should stop. This is where I make mistakes, is instead of... Because I know that I need to have lunch. Instead of having lunch, I'm just going to keep slamming my face against the keyboard like this. And that's what you shouldn't do. So what I'm doing is slamming my face on the keyboard, and I should stop. I should stop now and get something to eat. I'm going to keep going. The member ID is 4. Ah! And the member ID should not be 4. The member ID is wrong. Why is the member ID 4? Whoa. Okay. Member ID should not be 4. I found the problem. The member ID is wrong. We did it. We found the problem. So, current member ID in focus. So I'm going to hit equals. So the member count offset. So member count offset is a multiplier of 4. But why is it being offset right now? Member count offset is equal to, but I don't have anything here. Nothing's even changing that number. I can look in the inspector. Will the inspector tell me? See what I'm doing? What I'm doing right now is wrong. What I need to do is stop and eat. I had all I had for breakfast was and if you're not from Australia, you probably wouldn't fully understand this. Our breakfast cereals, they look like what you would feed to a horse. In America, I grew up in America. That's why I put on my shades and my my American flag bandana, and I make a Bandit Keith reference. But in America, oh, see, look, okay, no. First off, it worked. The first time it worked is the member ID is equal to 4, but then it changes. The member ID changes to 4 later on when it's not supposed to. So what we'll do is this. We'll figure out where that has happened. But in Australia, the breakfast cereal looks like what you would feed a horse, and it is not... oh, that's bad. No. Gain stat boost from activity. That should be, previous? Yeah, so it's Australian breakfast cereal is like horse food. It's filling. Attempt to start training, no. I need to track down where this is going wrong. Process train. Ah! Found it. This is where it's going wrong. See? So member in focus. What we're going to do is have to use a different value. This is where it's going wrong. We'll do this. I found it. Wow, that could have slipped by me really easily. Iterating. Okay. That was really... This is difficult. That was difficult. That's where it messed up. Okay, I'm going to use this as replace, but I'm not going to replace all. Oh my god. You know how broken this whole code would get if I went replace all? That would break absolutely everything. Yeah, we're going to use member iterating. And make sure we're still in the training logic there. Oh, wow, that ruined everything. Okay, I can take these debugs out. Thanks for your help, everyone. That was very useful. Thank you for your comment. I'd be livid if they did that to the stuffed crust. See, I'm glad I'm not the only one that would. And not a lot of things make me upset, but for some reason, like stuffed crust is so good, you cannot waste it. Always be the American that Japan thinks you are. I should be wearing a Bandit Keith headband every time. It works. It works now. I fixed it. I found the problem. That could have. Wow. That could have ended way worse because that's something that it's hard to track down. Heal team of status ailments. So this is what I'm going to see how there's a number 3. Well, that's wrong. It should be $3. That's a delimiter that's going to let me replace that with the seconds value, and the seconds value is going to be calculated later on. You can see the required intelligence. So this is working now. Now this is functional. The required intelligence is 150. The use rate is 30%. Body slam is 100%. You can be as dumb as a box of bricks, and you can still body slam. You can body slam all day long. 100%. Ball blaster storm is 70%. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's going to be a hit. Last thing we'll do before we log out of the stream, because I actually do really need to get some food now. We're going to update the target so that it actually displays the correct target. Okay, let's see what logic. And I think I do need a call reference for that. Oh, sorry that took so long, guys. If they want stuffed crust pizza, I would tell them to buy it themselves so I can enjoy my own. I've never worked in a pizza shop, but can you imagine, if you work there, can you imagine how annoying it would be if somebody asked for half stuffed crust? Because I'm kind of thinking on the computer, maybe there isn't even a way on the pause system to put in half stuffed crust. I'd be kind of irritated if someone asked for that. A monster with cowboy hat after hearing that y'all hear. Where is he? Where is he? I really like that guy. Oh, let's go to the other room actually. We'll fix this. Hold on. Sorry, is this it? That was one of my favorite designs, the cowboy hat one. I was kind of thinking like, oh, and I was actually that design. I was worried. I generally don't worry with designs, but that was one design, the only one where I thought, uh-oh, what if this doesn't look like how I want it to? Because you have to be able to view all of these designs. You have to view them from any angle, and you have to be able to discern what you're looking at. So these designs are very difficult to design because they need to be identifiable and they need to be clear in their form. And this was the one design where I thought I might not do a good job on this one, but it turned out as clear visually as I wanted it to look, because you can change the angle. You can still see his little mustache, and you can see his eyes just barely visible under the brim from above. So I'm very relieved that this design turned out. Let's have a look at other elements here. Let's just change this element a little bit. What are you, yellow? You yellow belly? Yes, actually. Oops, that's slime. Goo. Gorak. Oh, what's it? Blue. Brown. I'm obsessed with saying colors, with pronouncing colors the way that Super Sentai say it. Just like the roll call when they do the Super Sentai thing. They're like, Hedo, Blue, Gorak. The way they say the colors is so cool to me. It's a powerful way to say a color. I'm kind of obsessed with it. Gorudo. I love the way they say gold. Gorudo. Green. Pinku. Yeah, I really like that guy. I want to make a game, but IDK where to start. Spinza, if you just got here, basically the best way to start is use a game engine that has a visual interface that makes it easy to learn. I strongly recommend getting one of the RPG makers from Steam when it's on sale. Right now they're not on sale, but they are often on sale, and you'll get them for a very good price. So let's go ahead. I'll just open Steam again, or the Steam shop, store. These may not be the kind of game that you want to make, but they are excellent learning tools. What you need to develop when you are starting game development, you need to develop your ability to take an idea out of your head and how to make it into something functional. RPG Maker will let you do that, and the way that it lets you do that is that it has all of the assets you need. It has all of the graphics, all of the sound, and it allows you to use a visual interface, so if there's an idea in your head, you can make it functional. You can define your stat growth, you can design all of your weapons, all of your characters, everything is there. So RPG Maker is by far the very best tool to use to learn how to make a game. You can make something absolutely functional without having any experience. And the skills that you develop while using RPG Maker, they will translate into other game engines. So wait till this is on sale. I strongly recommend, I think it's VX. I think this one goes on sale for maybe 10 or 12 bucks pretty often. Keep an eye on that. So these are newer, but they all basically do the same thing. They all let you develop your skills when you're learning. Game Maker is pretty good as well. Yes, Game Maker is also good, but Game Maker doesn't give you all the assets like the graphics and the audio. RPG Maker already has the stuff in there. It's all formatted. So in general, I would say your roadmap for learning is start on RPG Maker, then move on to Game Maker. Even if you only use RPG Maker a little bit, Game Maker is an excellent one for developing your skills and learning as well. So there was one thing that I wanted to do here now. Before we clock out, we want to update our logic so we can have our target mode descriptions. So I have target mode descriptions here. We need to reference the core. So, stats display. Oh, good. We have the core here. All right. Image, feature element. Image, feature element. No. Actions. Action slot. No, the logic. See, I am dropping off. I need to have something to eat here. And we'll go core. Earlier in the stream, I said I was going to need this. And now I do need it. Okay. So we have image, target type, and what I'm doing is I'm using the reference here. So if we look at our stats, we have our action slots, and our action slots reference our image type. This is the image type, and this is the target type. That's the target type there. They're referenced there in the inspector. So the sprite is equal to core.target mode description in action.target mode. But this is an enumerator. We want to cast the enumerator into an integer value. So we have an integer value with those. We are casting that. And now we want the sprite icon. So it is the sprite icon of the target mode description there. So we've taken our enumerator, turned it into an integer so we can get the element position. Now, what we need to do is just make sure we pass the core over through our display data. This code should work. My brain's telling me this should work, but my brain is also telling me stuffed crust pizza. Stuffed crust pizza, please. Go ahead and call the core in. We don't need that there. And we also need to go here and pass the core. Do we not? That's it. That's it. Hey, Ray Tesla, I really appreciate that. Thank you for that. Have a good day. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks very much. You too. Look forward to more streams. Yeah, I'll make sure that we can stream more regularly. What I have to do is set aside tasks like this that I know that I can do on stream that aren't super boring, because there's a lot of tasks that I have to work on that are they're not interesting to look at. We're going to go ahead and just run this and then make sure the logic works. Okay, let's close out of it. But that'll be it, I think. Eat all the stuffed crust you can. I will. I will. Actually, no, that's a lie. I'll have like half a pizza with stuffed crust, and then I'll save the other half. Put that in the fridge. You can microwave that. That's a nice snack for later on. So I have an array index is out of range. Let's go ahead and figure out what we did wrong. That's there's something wrong here. I'm going to go to the core, and I'm going to make sure that there are the same number of elements. There are 5 possible elements, which means the maximum number should be 4. And we will look at our target. That's target mode. That also is a typo which I need to fix. Oh, that's going to be annoying. I'm going to have to fix that. That's so annoying. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So it's missing 1. I'll just increase that for now and I'll fix it later. We'll go to that. The maximum number should be 6. If we now, I have to fix that. That is super wrong. A stuffed crust pizza. Stuffed crust pizza is the pizza for you and me. Yeah, you got it, Ryan, dude. It's a waste. If you're gonna get like a Domino's, it's such a waste to not get a stuffed crust. So my order is wrong. I want to adjust this. My order is wrong. I just want to make sure that I match my logic now. So let's go ahead and fix that. Let's go. First, it should be enemy. All right, single enemy, and then it should be self. It's weird that I did it wrong, but everyone can make mistakes. It's weird that I didn't do it this way correctly beforehand. It should be self. After that, it's all enemies. Okay. Self is this one. Logo there. We have all enemies, which is multi. And I'm looking at my code. I'm straight up just looking at my code right now. It's just on the other screen, so it doesn't disappear. Then we have ally. Okay, single ally. Ally. Single ally. Oh, that's what this does wrong. Yeah. See the enumerator. You can target a single ally, but with this kind of battle system, I decided that targeting a single ally is pointless. So that's why I have the wrong number here. That makes more sense now. Okay, this should be allies and then team, which means I can knock that down again to 5. Now it's the correct amount. Not 65. That's a problem. Okay. So allies all, allies only. Okay, we'll just run this, make sure it works. Are you going to do another scissor drop video? Hugo Etano. Actually, yes. I've bought a number of like the most weird scissors. These are the weirdest scissors you've ever seen. I'm just waiting until I kind of feel like it. It's usually when I get up first thing in the morning, I think about whatever video I feel like doing. And the scissor ones, you need to have a lot of energy because I have to pretend to be like an energetic scissor unboxer. That actually takes a lot of energy. So I usually, if I'm working late, because I work till late developing my games, if I'm working late, I wake up and I don't have a ton of energy. So the array index is out of bounds again. I need to go back and fix my things. That's why all of my action data is going to be messed up now. So that's going to be grindy. I'll be doing that today. So now I'm going to do the boring work. So yeah, we're going to wrap up the stream. I'm just going to make sure that this logic all works properly. Grab myself something to eat. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone for hanging out. I really hope that this stream has been useful. If you're interested in game development and programming and you use Unity, I hope this has been useful to you. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with all of you. We're just going to make sure this works. Yeah, sick. What I want to do now what I want to do, and this is boring stuff, is if you highlight a slot that has nothing in it, then I want those to be hidden. I don't want those to be visible if you're on an empty slot. So I'll do that after the stream. It's boring. So this works. Yes. Yeah, see? The target mode does work correctly. Blaster Ball Storm, which for some reason I could not say earlier. Blaster Ball Storm targets multiple enemies, Body Slam, single enemy, and Cleansing Wind, full team. Yeah. This stream was great. Spinza, Bandira, Chris, Akers. Thanks, everyone. This was a lot of fun, actually. It was just cool hanging out with you guys. Okay, take care, everyone. Have a great day, or have a good night wherever you are. It's pizza time for me. I'm gonna eat some pizza. All right. This has been a lot of fun, actually. Blaster Ballstorm was a tongue twister. I'm going to be honest here. I put that in my document. Let's have a look at my document again. I did not say this out loud when I made it. My Blaster Ballstorm. This stream was the first time I said it out loud, so I didn't even know. I didn't even know it was going to be so hard to say. But Blaster Ballstorm, where'd it go? I don't know. I don't know where it is now. That's a hard one to say. And this is our good boy Pablo, who. Oh yeah, let's look at Pablo's moves. Pablo is this is our child that we created in the chat. But Pablo has Epsilon Blaster. Oh, you know what? I think this is a move that's like I think it's a special one, because that's like a really good one. He has Hyper Lance. Oh, it pierces decoys. Good thing that the description is there. So, yeah, in the battle system, you can. There's a move that creates a decoy, so it puts a decoy in front of you. So it can the decoy can tank a hit. So if you see if the enemy's about to do something big, if your Goobuddy's smart, he might put up a decoy. And Hyper Lance, it's Hyper Lance 1 and Hyper Lance 2. It's one of the few moves that can pierce. It'll damage and break the decoy and still hit the person who put the decoy up, the Goobuddy. Spikeify adds spikes to your Goobuddy so that if the enemy makes contact with you, they'll take damage. Coagulate increases your viscosity. It should say that. See, I haven't gone through all of the actions yet. Some of them, well, most of them don't have their description in there. And then you have Cleansing Wind, and that heals your team of status ailments, and you temporarily gain immunities to status ailments. That's a pretty good one. But you can see that you require 150 intelligence. And these guys start with 10, so you have to work your way up. So that there's really good moves, but you won't be able to... Oh, Spikeify? Look at that. Spikeify requires 320. Yeah. Blaster Ballstorm is... Okay, thanks everyone. Mo, PK, TY Boss. Thanks everyone. Have a great night. Let's all grab a pizza. I'm starving. Thanks everyone. Take care. We're going to log out. Take care. See ya.